In this video, I'm going to show you the fastest and easiest way to get the Platinum Combat Knife in Modern Warfare 2. Now to begin, if you don't already have the Combat Knife Gold, I'll leave a link in the description below where you guys can see the video I made on just how to get the Combat Knife Gold. But in this video, we're going to cover how to get it Platinum. Now to get the Platinum Camo for the Combat Knife, the challenge requires you to get 2 kills within 10 seconds, which may be a little bit hard for some of you, but hopefully throughout this video, I'll share with you some things that you can use to hopefully knock this out a little bit quicker. So before you even jump into a game, I want to share with you the loadout that you should be running to make this challenge way easier. So the first thing that you want is to make sure you're running the Riot Shield as your primary. This is going to be great for running around with the Combat Knife because you'll have this shield on your back to provide cover, and as most of you know by now, having a Riot Shield on your back in Modern Warfare 2 pretty much makes you invincible. The second thing you want is to make sure you're using the Dead Silence Field upgrade. This will be extremely useful when it comes to getting that second kill with the knife. A lot of times what I recommend players do is get that first kill with the Combat Knife and then pop your Dead Silence and run into the spawn. Obviously, you've got 10 seconds to find that second kill, which may not sound like a lot of time, but when you're running around with a Combat Knife, you can get around the map pretty quick. So using that Deady for your second kill and running into the enemy spawn trying to hit a flank is a really good way to catch that second kill within the 10-second mark. The third thing you want is to make sure you're running stun grenades or flash grenades. Personally, I don't think it matters too much. It kind of just depends on what you think is better. The stuns are great for keeping people still, keeping them from moving. Throwing a stun from behind is a great way to catch up to somebody with the knife. However, using a flash is also really useful if you're about to run into a building or run around a corner. If you pop a flash, they're completely blind, can't see, and you're able to kind of sprint around the corner. If you throw a stun at somebody from point blank around a corner, yeah, you can run around the corner and they can't really move too well, but they can still see where you're coming from and get those shots down. So the flashes are a lot better from those encounters where you're facing someone. The stuns are a lot better if you're coming up behind someone and you want them to slow down so you can catch them with the knife. Make sure you're running a counter UAV. Now, you might not get a whole lot of counter UAVs throughout the game using a Combat Knife. I recommend using score streaks so that if you're picking up tags or grabbing the hard point really fast, you'll be able to get these. You're a little more likely to get the counter UAV. But they're extremely useful, and I found them very helpful when going for the Platinum Combat Knife, mainly because a lot of people in this game are using UAVs and constantly calling them in. And because the way Ghost works, a lot of times you're popping up. So it's very, very difficult to go after somebody with a Combat Knife when they know exactly where you're coming from because of the ping on the minimap. So running counter UAVs and playing with friends that are also using counter UAVs will help when it comes to completing this challenge a lot. And the last thing you want to make sure you're running is the perk Double Time. I feel like this is a given, but if you didn't already know, Double Time basically allows you to run quicker and get around the map a little bit faster. So using Double Time, a really important perk to use when going for the Combat Knife challenges. So now that you have your loadout built, let's talk about game modes. You definitely don't want to play tier 1. A lot of people get in the habit of just playing the hardcore mode because you need to play that for a whole lot of challenges in this game. But when you're going for the Combat Knife challenges, especially the platinum ones, do not play tier 1. The knife is always going to be a one-hit kill unless they have last stand on, which then you just knife them again when they go down. But playing tier 1 is completely useless. You're going to die so much faster and it makes it so difficult. I feel like this is an obvious one, but a lot of people are stuck just playing hardcore because they think that's the best place to complete all the challenges. Make sure you're not playing tier 1. Second of all, the game modes don't matter too much. Objective-based game modes I think might be a little bit easier because you're going to have players running out a little bit more, whereas in like team deathmatch or free-for-all, players tend to play a little bit more campy. So playing something like Hardpoint, Headquarters, Kill Confirmed encourages players to move around the map a little bit more, makes it easier to get those Combat Knife kills. But objective-based game modes I would say are probably the better option over TDM or free-for-all. You also want to make sure that you're going for this challenge on the smaller map. So if you're getting a massive map in the game and you decide to play it, make sure that you're not going for the Combat Knife challenges on that map. Try a different weapon, level up your sniper, do something different, but use the Combat Knife on the smaller maps. Albagra Fortress, Farm 18, Shoot House 24/7, really good options. Albagra Fortress I found to be my favorite map when doing Combat Knife challenges because although it is a little bit bigger than Farm 18, a lot of that map consists of very small alleyways and doorways and rooms, and it made it a lot easier to run around with the knife, and as well as the Riot Shield if you're doing the Riot Shield challenges. Albagra Fortress is a really, really good map for that. Farm 18 and playing on Shoot House 24/7 is obviously a good option. Now, currently, Shipment is not in the game at the time I'm recording this video. If it is in the game, definitely play that map. But for now, stick to the maps that I just listed. The last useful tip that I can give you guys is to play the doorways towards the middle of the map, especially if you're on an objective-based game mode. One way that I found to knock out this challenge pretty quick was playing slow in the middle of the map and waiting for multiple enemies to run past me. So let's say, for example, you're sitting behind a doorway in the middle of the the map, and maybe players are trying to head to a hard point on the other side. If you're near that enemy spawn, a lot of times you'll get a lot of players that kind of rush together off spawn, and they'll both, or 3 or 4 will all run through the same doorway, and then they'll split. If you hide behind those doorways towards the enemy spawn, towards the middle of the map, it makes it a little bit easier to kind of just wait for the players to come past you, and always wait when the first person runs past the doorway. Give it a second or two, because there's most likely going to be another, and then it's an easy double kill with the knife within 10 seconds. So hiding behind the doorways in the middle of the map or towards the enemy spawn is a good way to catch people lacking. Also, if you have the dead silence available, as soon as people run by you, you can hit the deadie, come up behind them, and they'll have no clue what's going on. So these are the tips that I have for you when it comes to getting that platinum combat knife. If you guys have any other questions, leave them down in the comments below, and I'll be sure and try to help some of you guys out. Or if you have any other tips that maybe you found while getting the platinum combat knife, leave them in the comments, man. Let's help some people out. But I appreciate the love on the videos. Thank you so much for the constant support. I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.